Hello and welcome to the Reel McCoy. As I need to fix my camera up and I didn't move my fucking green screen. What a great start for a podcast. What is the Reel McCoy? Wait. Hold on. I'm Mephisto and with me, my hetero life mate. All my feelings. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, buddy.
What is the Reel McCoy? Well, it's a big fucking mess, but it is what it is. It is your weekly movie podcast where we discuss movies. We send you off to watch a movie and you come back to us and we discuss it. We will, and more as these podcasts go by, we'll discuss more around the movie and rather than dissecting every single fucking scene. Because we love movies and we like to discuss everything about them. Along the way, we'll have some segments to have some fun and levity, to bring levity to the show, which is much needed because I have stuff to tell you that I've never told you backstage. I have got a rant and a half.
That's
today.
not good. That is not
Somebody
good,
annoyed me. Somebody yay high.
Uh-oh.
With you in a minute. Okay, before we start everything, if you want to interact with me personally and not bother my good friend here and my co-host at Twitter,
I won't read them.
at Mephisto, at Mephisto on Twitter, at Mephisto79, or if you want to email us at the Reel McCoy podcast at gmail.com, or of course you can always catch us on the Reel McCoy podcast on Twitch if you like to watch Twitch rather than YouTube. C'est la vie.
Okay, sarah.
Somebody. Last week. It was last week. Let me go into last week. I was enjoying life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and found out there's a new Snow White coming up soon. And I was like,
"Oh, you didn't know this?
Again?" And I was like, "Again?" Only to discover we're going to go full diversity and inclusion and have a Latino Snow White, thus dubbing the movie Brown White to me. And they had 7 dwarves. Apparently, I'm not sure. Mr.
Oh,
Hornswoggle is gonna be one of the dwarves.
yeah. You did.
The wrestler.
Did you
Anyway, wait. I'm
hear? Yeah. Oh,
No,
yeah.
you're gonna wait because what annoyed me to no end is the absolute degeneracy that is called established actors in Hollywood. That they think that once they reach a certain level, they have the authority and unlimited power. Unlimited power to push the ladder when they reach the top, push the ladder in front of them, and just not let anybody in. And of course, I'm talking to you, Mr. Peter Dinklage, the person I absolutely admired in season 1, 2, 3, and 4 of Game of Thrones. And then, of course, it's not his fault. It's Dan and Dave who ruined it for
Well,
everybody.
season 5 was still part of the George R. R. Martin books, which still kind of worked. Then it would.
Do not apologize. Oh, my feelings. Do not apologize for Dan and Dave. They will be forever cast in the cauldron of hell that where they belong. Anyway, Peter Dinklage, which popped up in many movies like Narnia, Prince Caspian, which was not a great film, but he did a great job in it. I think he's done a lot of good jobs in many other movies. Some movie that nobody's seen on Netflix called "I Care About You" or "I Care for You," something with Rosamund Pike. I don't know
Yes,
if
it's
you
actually a
remember.
really good movie.
It's a really
It's
good
a
movie, and
really good
he's
movie.
doing an excellent job in it
Yeah.
as a Russian mobster. Anyway,
Yeah.
Peter Dinklage decide that the movie isn't progressive enough because there's still dwarves in it. So now the dwarves have lost their job. And they will be the brown, white, and the 7 magical creatures. Fuck you, Peter Dinklage. And
I
fuck
thought.
what you represent.
Well, I thought he would have taken action. Well, when I read that, by the way, I thought he would have taken offense by if in the last iteration of Snow White, which is like the
I have no idea what you're talking about. Let me add another thing. Not only
the huntsman and everything, and basically all of the actors that were supposed to be dwarves were not portrayed by dwarves. I thought that would have actually been the thing that would have been. Oh yeah, by the way, they are not hiring people that are actual actors who are dwarves who could be good actors. Instead, they're hiring normal people and they're CGIing them to portray dwarves. Which
no.
no, that's what I thought was so odd because his take was the exact opposite. It was like
no. There were actually 7 dwarf actors, dwarves, midgets, little people, whatever you want to call them. I don't give a shit. Okay. Not only that 7 of those people lost their job, Disney is not even hiring dwarves anymore. As in, they're not hiring the Peter Dinklages of the world who are not named Peter Dinklage. This is another Disney stab in the back. Stab in the fucking back. Now,
why would you?
To me,
Why,
it's not
again,
an affront to me. It's not doing anything to me, but people lost their fucking jobs. People that are having a hard time getting jobs at all because of their so-called disability. It's not even a disability.
But also, given the history of Disney, why should this shock anyone?
It's
Ever?
not. Are you not supposed to be progressive? Are you not supposed to be inclusive? Does that sound inclusive to you?
That's the insidious nature of this semi-inclusivity, because what it does is they pander in a way that works for them while still making the maximum amount of dollars, while still being able to just push out elements they don't like.
Can you see how red I am in the face?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
This boils my fucking blood. It's been boiling my blood for years, but I have kept quiet. I have kept silent.
It's
I've thought, well, you don't have to
it's
ruffle the feathers. You don't have to say anything. It's just, you're just a
oh.
small guy from a country that everybody hates. Anyway, why would anybody think that you are the shit? Well, I'm not the shit. I'm just one guy. I have 2 kids and I'm trying to teach them about the world. But this bullshit, I told my wife, Mrs. Meth is a massive normie. Like I'm a normie. She's a massive normie. She can hear me
Oh
right
yeah.
now, and I don't care. She's gonna open this door right about 2 minutes from now, yelling at me. Why are you yelling at the fucking PC? And I'm
Yeah.
gonna say, because that's why I'm doing this. I'm trying to educate people, show them about how movies were great and can be great, just as long as you are fucking telling a story and not dealing with this shit. And if the fucking job requires a dwarf, midget, little people, small folk, whatever you want to call them, just put the fuck. There's so many. You had a wonderful movie called Willow. The center of the guy, the name of the main character is Willow.
Willow. Yeah.
He saved everybody. Anybody cared? No,
No.
because it was a story with a good character. It had a male protagonist, it had a female protagonist, it had a dwarf, it had an old bitch and a new bitch and all that. Yes, I know they're witches. Why are you doing this? Why? We were past this. I'm done. I'm
Okay.
done. I'm not giving
I was gonna say
Disney any more money.
money. Yeah. No, I completely agree with you. And also, I'm sorry, but Bifford just made me just laugh out loud.
I will
I
share.
thought going on
By the
a Whoopi
way,
Goldberg
by the
rant with
way,
Bifford. God
I'm.
damn you! He caught me there, completely off guard.
By the way, I don't know if you know this. You probably do. This will be the next thing. This will be the next thing I'm going to be exploding on if they do what I think they're going to do.
What are you talking about? Yeah, yeah. Which
I'm not gonna
that's
even. I'm not
that's
gonna even
coming.
comment. I'm not gonna even comment. I'm gonna wait for that trailer. If the trailer is what they say it is, I'm going to fucking explode.
Yeah.
Explode. This is why I don't do these rants. I get worked up. I get so fucking annoyed,
I to
and
be fair
my
though,
heart palpitates out of my fucking out of
I
my
will say that
fucking lungs. I know I sprung this up on you, and you were not prepared for this.
no, it's fine.
But
Fine.
I try to be civil. I try to be
I will
civil,
have to
but
say,
it's
given the
getting to me.
new,
It's starting to get to me.
I was given the new Lord of the Rings series though, given the fact that it is done by Amazon, they don't have the same kind of myopic worldview that Disney sort of does, where if it gets to the point where it's starting to lose money, they will start to try to correct course immediately.
I
Because Jeffrey
sincerely hope so.
Bezos is not a fucking moron. As much as he is a monster and not a good person, he's not a moron.
I'm gonna wait to see the trailer, and after the trailer, I'm going to wait till is it September 2nd?
I
September
think so.
2nd is the first
Yeah.
episode. Amazon Prime does not do the binge model. They do the episode by episode, which is way smarter than the binge model.
Oh yeah, 100%. Well, yeah, retain your fucking Amazon
Yeah,
Prime.
retain your audience. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. You're right. Exactly. So I'm going to wait and I'm going to give it a go. I gave Apple TV. I don't have Apple TV, but I have people that are good friends of mine.
Fine. Yeah.
So I've seen the first couple of episodes of Foundation. that show can go to hell for all I
Yeah,
care.
that was not
That
good.
show can burn in the righteous
No.
fire.
Um, one
But yeah,
one
let's start.
series. What was it? Just real quick, because we were already 15 minutes in. We haven't even started talking about the
Yeah,
movie yet.
I know.
But one series which oddly enough caught me completely off guard, which is actually wildly entertaining, and then Hulu is actually starting to learn the model too, where like don't release all the episodes, release a couple, and then start eking them out week over week.
Yeah.
Pam and Tommy. Oh my god, that show is fucking hilarious.
I'm not gonna go near
It's
that
it's the
show.
documentary about the sex tape, and
Yeah.
it's actually extremely well shot. The acting is actually really superb.
Who's playing Tommy, and does he have an appendage to his penis?
It is I can't remember his name. He played the Winter Soldier in Marvel.
Sebastian Stan?
Yeah.
It, let me ask you this: does he
I'll
have
put it this,
a?
I'll put it this way. There's a whole scene where I don't know if he has a prosthetic or not, but it shows it multiple times. There is a whole scene where he is talking to his cock. Full stop, and it's moving while he's talking. And the
Okay,
voice,
I'm
it's voiced by Jason Mantzoukas.
okay. So let's move on. I was gonna ask: is it like the ending of Boogie Nights type of appendage?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think.
Don't watch Wheel of Time. It's too woke, dude.
I would not
I
watch
was
Reel of
having a
Time
hard time
anyway.
reading. Look, I'm working at a place where I'm listening to a lot of like podcasts and stuff. But before I started to listen to podcasts, I was listening to a multitude of audiobooks because it's very hard for me to read a book. It's very hard for me to concentrate on a book. I don't know if it's ADD, ADHD. I was never tested, and I will never go and test myself. But I do know my limits, and one of my limits is I really have trouble reading a book. So audiobooks are a godsend because I've been running through audiobooks like crazy. And I
I know,
started
'cause
Wheel of Time,
you
could
got through all the
not.
Witcher series too, right?
I've read almost the entire Witcher series.
Yeah.
That's why I have major issues with that show.
Yeah, I
Don't
know.
get me started because we are almost
That
20
well,
minutes in.
no, that's why I told you to not watch the second season, because I knew it would drive you fucking crazy. It's like, yep, you read the series like I did. It's like, nope.
I've watched the first episode and I've seen many people talk about this stuff. You know, I'm very much into. I've gone down a rabbit hole a long time ago, and I've sat there waiting, lurking in the shadows, not
Yeah.
saying anything for a long while. So what I did was stay lurking, intake information, and whatever seemed to me that like it's going to be bad and woke and shit, I was just not giving them any money, and B, just not watching him. Just not watching him. I'm not gonna watch. Like I was not intending to watch Discovery. Mrs. Meth, major Trekkie, started to watch Discovery. I watched half of it with her. It's so dumb.
Yeah.
It was so dumb. At one point, I was just I told her I'm
Oh yeah.
not gonna sit here and watch this. This
It
is
suffers.
terrible.
Well, it suffers from the worst quote unquote the trope of the Messiah complex. Like
Yeah.
it has one of the worst cases of it. That's the most condemning thing you could say about Discovery at all. It's like, oh, so basically you have our African American female fucking Jesus. That's what you have.
I think Gary from Nerdrotic coined the I know you like to use it. It's the girl who's the key to everything.
Thing.
You
Yeah.
had it in Picard. You had it in what was that? In fucking the new Star Wars. You had it in look, even the Korean series. I've watched it. I've rewatched it again. It's a Korean series called The Silent Sea.
Yeah, sounds like yeah.
I think it's a great show up to a certain point
Point.
where it literally falls off a cliff,
Yeah.
and it could have been really good, but the ending really lets it down. it really lets it down.
And
I have already recorded like the review of the show twice because
yeah.
I was unsure of what I wanted to say, and then I was just okay. Just let it have it. Just let it, and I'm gonna release it as soon as I can. I've recorded lots and lots of stuff over the past week. It's just about like sitting down and editing everything and putting it out there. It's really hard. It's really hard.
And to be fair, just so I can speak on behalf of myself, and I think Meph, you agree with this wholeheartedly too. Like discussing social issues is completely fine in the context of a script. Just don't make it the forefront and your entire narrative. Don't make it be like, well, this person has to be the hero and completely untouchable because they are not only of a diverse racial background and also a different gender. Like, just don't have that happen, and it's perfectly fine.
I said before, I don't mind that much when you do gender swaps or race swaps. I don't care, but it seemed to me like the whole point of doing the swaps is just for doing the swaps, and you lose all the content in the middle.
Yeah.
The character is off, the story's off, the points are off, the allegories off, metaphors is everything is off. So what did you do? You just swap the whatever, and you told either it's a blah story, which you know, a 6 or a 7, like we had in Shang-Chi, which is, you know, like I said, it's a 6. It's an MCU movie, another one. It's an Ant-Man movie. It's a 6.
Yeah.
It's the first Thor. I don't like. It's a 6.
It's more the fact like it exists in the confines of the MCU, but it's there. It's there.
It's there. Have you seen Shang-Chi?
Yeah.
Maybe you did. Maybe you didn't. I've seen it once. I have no desire watching it again.
Yeah.
I've seen Goodfellas this week 3 times by my own volition. And it was good every single fucking time. Every single fucking time.
Okay.
Unbelievable. 22 minutes. You know what?
And on that note,
you know what?
We've got to get into it because I have a long behind the screen segment. So
production take 2.
Sorry to cut you off. Behind the screens,
no,
where we
fine.
go to all my feelings, leave my rants be, and we talk about all the stuff behind the scenes. Go. And when you're done, we're gonna jump into Missing Marquee. Let's go.
Okay. So first and foremost, based off of the true crime novel, based off of Pelagi's work called Wise Guy. Fantastic novel. If you have not read it or listened to the audiobook, please go out and do that. It's a fantastic read or a fantastic listen. Please do that. Scorsese originally did not want to do another mobster film for quite some time, but he had actually gotten a copy of Pelagi's book while he was working on another film. And according to Pelagi, Scorsese actually cold called him and asked him, it's like, you know what? I've been waiting for this book my whole life. And Pelagi said in response, I've been waiting for this call my whole life.
That's so nice. I love it when those things happen. And we mention it like so many good movies are like made with that little spark that this movie was not supposed to be made, not, and it all like came together and it made to a wonderful film. Go.
Yeah. So,
sorry.
Scorsese had to postpone actually trying to get even funding and casting for the film because he was actually making The Last Temptation of Christ, which is a film that no one fucking remembers.
Yeah, Willem Dafoe as Christ.
Yeah.
I remember. Let's go.
I remember.
Exactly.
Actually, Scorsese and Pelagi they co-wrote the script together because they wanted to adapt it as much as they could to remain faithful to. Yes.
I have it. It's from the movie itself. Have it
Yes.
as first screening.
Yes, to the original novel, Wise Guy. Um, and oddly enough, they had to get rights from people and everything. And 2 weeks in advance of filming, the actual Henry Hill, the guy who did exist and who did rat out all of his friends,
Mm-hmm.
he got paid $480,000
That's
for
it.
film rights. For film rights, yeah.
That's nothing.
Yeah, but also he's in witness protection. So if anyone were to find,
he was Henry Hill. Was filmed for a documentary. I think I think the last mobster he put away in jail died. I think when Gotti died, that's where he went out of hiding.
okay.
Was 2016, 2017. There's this documentary with Henry Hill with
Yeah.
him telling
Telling
about
that story, yeah.
his story, and they cut to B-rolls of the actual Goodfellas movie, and he says, well, that didn't really happen like that. It kind of happened like this.
Yeah.
There's a different story with the whole Billy Bat story.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Which we're gonna get to because that's funny. But moving on there, the two decided on the name Goodfellas, as at the time there were two different projects with the name Wise Guys.
Oh, okay.
There was a TV series and a movie.
There was Wise Guy. Is it Wise Guy or not? Wise Guy
Sorry,
with
Wise Guy and then Wise Guys.
Vinny Terranova. Vinny Terranova. That's the guy.
Yeah.
The character,
But still,
I think.
so they decided, well, let's go with Goodfellas.
Yeah.
Then from there, the actual I don't remember. Do you know any of the actual mob history at all, Beth?
A little bit.
Well, because
I mean, I love mob history. It's especially Italian mob in the U.S. So.
Well, because Tommy, Joe Pesci's character, was actually based off a real mobster.
Yes.
Yes, who was Tommy DeSimone, aka Two Guns.
Two Guns.
And Paulie Cicero.
Go ahead. I know.
Was actually based off of Paul Veriano.
Yes.
Who's another very famous mobster. And of course, Jimmy Conway, Robert De Niro's character, was based off of Jimmy Burke, who also, they mentioned, oddly enough, they did everything except for actually state his last name in the film, because they even referred to his moniker that they had by the time, because they called him Jimmy the Gent.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I know all this, but I've seen so much stuff over the last month and a half. Like movies, you wouldn't believe. I have so much information jumbled up in my fucking head. It's incredible. But yeah, there's a massive story with all of these characters. You're gonna say the names, and if you don't go into the Henry Hill book, you wouldn't know what's up. But once you know the principal characters, it all leads to Sammy DeBull Gravano and John Gotti and that crew and the Gambino crew and the Tatalia crew and the Dust crew, the Fettuccinis, I'm just joking.
What,
but yeah,
and the Alfredos and the marineras you're talking about?
Exactly, the Alfredos.
But anyway, so oddly enough, once De Niro was actually on board, financial backing was secured in an instant.
Yeah. Obviously, coming off. This is 1990, so his last film was what? Trying to think. I'm not Raging Bull.
No.
Taxi Driver?
No, that was no.
What did he do between Taxi Driver and this one? I'm not sure what he did.
Film.
Oh, I know what he did. I'm not sure if it's after this movie or before. The movie with Wesley Snipes where he stalks. No, that's after this one. That's 92.
Yeah, no,
That's
that's
92. Yeah.
was
I
that a
don't
true,
remember which one, but
a true fan or
I don't remember, but he stalked Wesley Snipes, and Wesley
yeah.
Snipes was. Oh, he did Cape Fear. That's
No,
what he did.
no, but
That was
Cape Fear was
no
actually after
Cape
this.
Fear was 93,
Was 91.
94. Midnight Run. No, he did Deer Hunter, but I don't remember which year that was.
No.
Anyway, I don't think he did a lot of work during the 80s. That's what I'm saying.
No, he didn't. But anyway, they got the backing because of that. But oddly enough, Ray Liotta actually campaigned very, very aggressively to play the role of Henry Hill because he was actually a big fan of the novel, The Wise Guys.
That's always good. That's always good
Yeah.
that you have actors that are really committed to the role.
Yeah, but
Because
do you
you
know
get a lot of good performers out of them.
performances? Yeah, well, you get the best performance because they wanted to portray this character. That's the whole thing. Like if you want an actor to come after a role, not because of money, because they want to actually be the character, because they love the character and they want to just try to live in their shoes, even vicariously by acting as it. Like that's awesome. That's what you want.
Yeah.
Anyway, but Sean Penn, Alec Baldwin, Val Kilmer, and even Tom fucking Cruise
Tom Cruise read for
were considered and read for the role of Henry Hill before they finally just
Wow.
gave the role to Ray Liotta.
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool. All right.
Yep.
What else we got?
Al Pacino and John fucking Malkovich were considered for the role of Jimmy Conway before De Niro took the role.
I can see, you know what's weird? I can see John Malkovich as Jimmy Conway.
Yeah.
I don't see Al Pacino as Jimmy Conway.
I don't either. I don't.
Nobody else could play Tommy.
No, yeah. Nobody
else can play Tommy.
No. No. The odd thing is I could see Willem Dafoe even playing Jimmy.
That's a good choice.
I could see Willem Dafoe playing Jimmy like that, especially how he could turn on a hat and be so angry.
Ooh.
And being so expressive in his
Christopher
face.
Walken.
Christopher Walken, yeah, he could too, yeah. But Walken hadn't really gotten his sort of break yet in his later
1990?
Career. Well, in his later career where he was actually really more well known.
Yeah, well. Did he still have the taint of fucking what's her face falling off the boat?
A little bit. We don't talk about that.
We don't talk about that, right? We don't talk about that.
That's sad. We don't talk about that.
Anything else before we head off to our first segment because we were late?
Last little bit. The role of Karen Hill.
Yes.
One of the other women that was actually considered to play the role. Madonna.
No.
Yeah, I know.
You know why?
Big fat no for me too. No.
I'll tell you why. Madonna could have played any other of the wives of the
Goombas, you mean?
The Goombas,
yeah.
She could have played any other Italian woman. Debbie Mezzer could have played any other Italian woman and not Ray Liotta's girlfriend.
Yeah.
Right?
I love the fact that you remember her name.
Debbie Mezzer, because they're fucking friends, Madonna and Debbie Mezzer.
Yeah.
Right? She was like the cokehead girlfriend of Ray Liotta. But she could have played any other of the women, not his wife. They needed some. You know what? Edie Falco could have played.
Oh, Edie
Ray
Falco
Liotta's
could
wife
have.
instead of
very
I forgot her name.
Instead of what?
Okay.
Lorraine Bracco.
She could. It's so fucking funny that she could have played. I don't think she was an actor back then. because Lorraine Bracco was
Edie
well
Falco?
known.
Yeah.
She wasn't like an actress, but she did few like minor parts. And she does have that nice, good that accent. She
That
nailed that
accent, yeah.
accent. That Long Island Jewish accent.
Accent,
You know?
yes. Which we're gonna get to that. The last bit of casting notes is the prosecutor at the end who offers them the witness protection deal.
Yeah.
That guy is the actual guy who offered Henry Hill the prosecution witness protection program deal.
The
That's
FBI
the
dude?
actual guy. Yes.
Nice. That's a good little.
Yeah,
That's a good little
they
snippet.
reached out. Well, because Pileggi had talked to him, getting all the notes and stuff for writing Wise Guys. Like, well, how would you feel about maybe being in the movie? And he thought about it and called it back. Went, sure, why not? And he was on set the next day.
Cool. Nice.
Oh, one other slight little casting note thing is obviously, Tommy's mom is Scorsese's mother.
Yes.
Everybody knows that. So
Yeah. Yeah. I know. Right. I'm not sure if you could have. Can you see the screen I'm sharing?
You are
Like-
not popping it up yet. So
No.
just- you gotta-
So you can't see anything that I've because I
Nope.
was running through the posters.
No, sir.
You couldn't see that. Okay.
Nope.
Good. Very good. Because we are here at the first segment. What is Missing Marquee? Missing Marquee is very simple. I put on 10 posters up on the screen. They have their text written off and Oh My Feelings. And of course, the chat will try to guess which movie this is. Bam. You want me to
Is that
punch
Along
in?
Came Polly?
That is Along Came Polly.
I'm so sad I know that. Oh, fuck. I actually like this movie. It's one of Woody Allen's films that I actually like, and I can't remember it now.
It coined a look for
Yes.
Diane Keaton. A very specific look. Not
Annie
yes,
Hall,
thank
Biffer.
you.
Thank you, Biffer.
Thank you.
Thank
I'm
you,
gonna put it
Biffer.
on screen because you're special, special kind of guy. Annie Hall.
That's not Mr. 3000.
That's not Mr. 3000.
That's
This is the
Susan
movie
Sarandon
that
and Kevin Costner.
that's Susan Sarandon and Kevin Costner. This is the movie where Susan Sarandon met Tim Robbins.
Raging Bull.
It is not Raging Bull. It is not Raging Bull. Raging Bull is a boxing
Nope, you got
film
it. Bull Durham,
with
Bull Durham.
Robert De
It's
Niro.
Bull Durham.
That is Bull Durham.
Is that Mozart?
That is not Mozart. Mozart film is called Amadeus.
Yes. Is that Salieri?
That is not Salieri. Do you recognize the actress here?
That's Gwen.
That's Glenn Close.
Glenn Close. That's
This
John
one?
Malkovich, and that's Michelle
John
Pfeiffer.
Malkovich. Not a lot of people have seen this movie.
No. And apparently,
We've
probably
got
neither have I.
no vanities. No. This is not. This is not. I know the film you're going for. It's not the Ball of the Vanities, something like that. No, it's not.
But you mean
It is
Bonfire of the Vanities?
Bonfire of the Vanities. That's Tom Hanks and
That's what you're
Bruce
thinking of.
Willis and another girl. I'm not sure. Maybe it's Glenn Close, but there was a girl there. I forgot. It's not Bonfire of the Vanities. No,
I am having an off week now.
It's
don't
okay.
know.
It is called Dangerous Liaison.
It's ons. Okay. Jesus.
Show me the money. No,
Just a lip bite without anything. That's Is that now the actress? Is that Olivia Wilde? Maybe.
It is not Olivia Wilde. No. If I'll tell you the name of the actress, you'll know immediately. I can tell you she was in Social Network, but a very, very small role.
I can also tell you this.
Shall I give you your phone call?
Yeah,
Never mind.
Lifeline.
It is Dakota Johnson.
Oh, was that supposed to be just 50 Shades of Grey?
50 Shades of Grey.
Wow, that's awful. Grease.
Grease. This one you will never ever guess. I've seen this movie 3 times now.
Emilia Clarke, is that Tom?
Is it Emilia Clarke? Don't know the name of the actor, but he always gets to play disabled people. It is you know what? It is actually a really good movie. You know what's who's in this movie? The actor who played Neville Longbottom, but he's like in this movie he's like buffed.
Oh yeah,
super buffed.
Was this it's the movie where she has is this the one where she has a heart condition?
No, it's the other way around.
Where he has the heart condition.
Yeah.
And then but they die at the same
time. He goes to a place in, I think it's Switzerland, to kill himself off because he has a really bad disability. Shall we give up?
Yep.
It's Me Over You.
Me Over You.
You should watch it. You would like it. You would like it.
I don't know. Why did you have to make this? That's what you were doing this whole time. You're like, hey, I'm gonna fuck with him. I'm gonna make this week really difficult.
No, this one is not. No, you're serious? This is not difficult. Biffer is gonna guess it. Come on. It's Mickey Rourke. It's Kim Basinger. Or Basinger.
Is that Kim? That does not look like her at all.
Well, she is very naked in this one.
I said that angle is not doing her any favors.
Pass.
Yeah, we don't know it.
You are failing me today. This is 9.5 weeks.
Half weeks. Okay. That's just The Great Gatsby or
The Great Gatsby.
Oh, damn.
I'll punch in.
No, that's... Is that Catherine Turner?
That is Kathleen Turner.
Kathleen Turner.
Yes.
And of course, DeVito and Michael Douglas.
That's DeVito, and it's Michael Douglas. Not Michael Keaton. Come on. War of the Roses. Thank you, Biffer. Yeah. Thank you, Biffer. 1 of 3 for I think it's Treasure on the Nile or something like that.
Jewel of the Nile.
They did 3 movies together. These 3 of them.
Trio,
this trio. Yeah, cool.
Because Jewel of the Nile was the big
Jewel of the
hit
Nile.
out of all of them. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So, shall we move on to the first scene of the movie?
Yep.
Romancing the Stone is the third one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was saying the Hebrew translation of it. It's I told you it's very, very dumb.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. So we're actually going to get into reviewing the movie now at 45 minutes in. We're going to start blitz real quick. The first
we're going to blitz through it.
I say the start of the movie, him saying, as far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
Yeah. It's basically the real start where he gets from his home window, he sees the Goodfellas, the gangsters. Paul is already in control of that particular crew.
Yeah, Paul and Cicero. Mm-hmm.
And he has those people, and Henry is already not afraid of them. He admires them.
Oh yeah,
He
no, he
knows
loves them. No, it
that
wasn't.
those are the
I never wanted to be the president because I wanted to be a wise guy.
exactly. And but he knew his limitations. He knew that those are Italians and will never be a part of their like upper
Well, no,
echelons. But
he didn't.
I can be a great soldier and live
Yeah,
the best life ever.
yeah, yeah.
And
And working throughout his youth and everything, and how he got beaten by his father because his mother, who was from Sicily, knew like when he showed up that one day in a suit outside
yeah,
the
that's
house.
what I'm trying to get to that specific scene.
Yeah.
Let's see. It's very hard to do. It's so hard to do.
What
Yeah,
every single time
she literally opens up the door after he did a few jobs for Paul, and he's like, "Hey, mom, a new suit." It's like,
suit.
oh my god, no.
No, she says, "You look like a gangster." That was
Yeah,
her response because he did.
he did, and of course, at a certain point, he gets caught,
Yep. And
and
when he first gets pinched, it was he had already met Jimmy Conway. We could see
yeah, we can, yeah,
Robert De Niro on
it's
the right
already
there.
after Jimmy
Um,
Conway was introduced, of
yeah,
course.
but there, Jimmy was the first one who got him when he came off the stand. He goes, you did good. You did
Yeah,
good." He goes, "Jimmy, I thought you'd be mad at me." He goes, "No, I'm proud of you. You didn't pinch. That's the
no,
first
you
thing you
didn't
did.
snitch. You
You didn't
got
snitch."
pinched, but you didn't get snitched.
The thing is,
Yeah,
you always do two things. You never rat on your friends, and you keep your mouth shut.
yeah. That's basically the rules of the mob. That is basically the only rule that you cannot break. You can kill people. There is certain etiquette to killing people, because you have to be you have to
Yeah,
be,
we get to that later after
yeah.
Tommy gets made.
There's certain rules that you don't break, and that rule, nobody from the mob breaks it, apart from Henry,
Yeah,
which does end up breaking it, unfortunately.
yeah.
Uh, but we move on to yeah, and
The
there's
first, yeah,
the
the
yeah.
first thing, yeah,
I'm gonna touch upon this, not because of anything to do with the story, but I wanted to touch upon how they kind of structured the movie, where most of the movie is told from Henry's perspective. So there's always voiceover, there's always a third person who kind of
yes,
tells what's going on. He gives you like this exposition dumps throughout while he's doing the narration. And
yep,
when they meet, it kind of turns into Lorraine Bracco's story,
right.
his future wife, and then his
Karen Hill, yeah,
wife telling the story from her perspective,
which is
giving
one
like
thing I was gonna wait until we got to this scene because it actually is really important about the whole narrative,
yeah,
is that the way that the story is told in different sequences from here on out is very similar to the last great train robbery. If you've ever seen that before, you'll get the reference.
I've seen it once. I've seen it once. Is there a specific thing that was done?
Split dual narratives that also especially like at the end where they're always just fearing that they're going to get hunted down and killed. That's
Yeah,
what the last shot in the movie is. Joe Pesci, Tommy shooting gun.
yeah.
That's the way it was shot that way. um Also, the one thing that you did miss there was the whole "am I funny to you," that whole scene.
It kind of led to this one. Yeah, it's kind of an important scene.
the
It
only
kind
the
of
only reason
sets
why
up.
The only reason why I bring that up is because that was actually not in the original novel, nor was it written by Pileggi or Scorsese. This was actually a story from Joe Pesci's life when he was a waiter and he did tell a joke or he to a mobster. The mobster laughed, and then the mobster told him a joke, and he says, "Oh, you're funny," and that was the negative reaction that he got.
It's
So
you know what?
there is so much ad-libbing done by Joe Pesci throughout this movie. It's incredible.
Yeah, I know. I this is the movie that kind of taught me about Joe Pesci more than even Lethal Weapon, whatever, 2, 3, whatever.
Yeah.
The one thing that I've seen this movie countless times, but it took a specific person. By the way, Joey Diaz. He was talking to Joe
Joey
Rogan on a
Coco Diaz,
podcast.
yeah.
I don't know when it was. I don't know which number it was.
Yeah.
But this movie came up, and not only this movie came up, this particular scene came up. He said something very interesting. He was not anything to do with the mob or anything, but he was one of those people who kind of was in the adjacent area of mobsters.
Yeah.
And he said something very important. This exchange where the mobsters, the gangsters, they always tested each other. They always fucked with each other to see if you caught on. And if you didn't catch on, if you acted in a certain way that was displeasing, people would have been either stabbed or shot.
Yeah.
If Henry didn't react the way he reacted, he would have may as well be shot.
Yeah.
Either the next night, this night, later on, or somewhere. He would have been shot if he didn't catch on to the fact that Tommy was fucking with him, especially Tommy, who was a hothead. And he mentioned that this kind of thing always happens in like La Cosa Nostra. Always. And it was very enlightening to see, because as you were watching it, you do catch on to what's happening. And it's like, this is a tense moment. If I was Henry, I don't know if I could catch that specific thing, but they always did it to each other. Always.
Well, but also they grew up together too. So like at a certain point in time too, you have to give Henry a little bit of credit where he could kind of understand, like, I pushed Tommy's buttons, but I didn't push him that far. So he's got to be fucking with me too.
Yeah. Now, I can't show the entire scene, but I want to touch upon this.
Yes, the long tracking shot.
Tracking shot. Yeah.
So this was actually done, because this is why I didn't do everything in the behind the screen. So I want to talk something while during the review. This whole interrupted long track shot was done because the club, Cabana, refused to allow them to shoot through the front.
Oh.
So this was done. This was done out of a matter of necessity. This long shot and how great it is, how this is one of the quintessential scenes of the entire fucking film, about how Karen is basically seduced by the life, how well like Henry is doing for himself. And she even says, like, he's 21 at this point in time. I know Ray Liotta looks like he's 35.
Yeah, Ray Liotta looks 40 when he was like 20. But yeah.
But still, he's supposed to be 21. This was all done out of just pure necessity.
Movie magic, man. When the movie is magical, then whatever it takes, man. Whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Is this or is it not? I think I wrote it down somewhere. It is 2 minutes and 37 seconds of one shot.
If
I'm not mistaken, it is the longest one shot in modern movie history.
It was for the longest time. Like I think 2 other shots have beat it now, but
yeah, but for a long time,
yeah, I believe, for the longest time,
it was the single one shot take ever in movie history. It's the bit itself is not supremely amazing. You don't get a lot of information. It's basically knowing a little bit about how Karen is feeling as they walk through, the behind the scenes of a working restaurant, and getting to sit down and interacting with the different gangsters and all that.
No, it's more of the fact that she is being introduced and seduced by the life, by everyone being around Henry, giving him this utmost respect. And the fact that she even is like, why did you give the doorman $20? Oh, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And as soon as they sit down, what happens? The waiter comes up with a bottle of wine, Like, oh, this is from Vinny over the table over there, and they look over and Vinny just waves. And what the first question Karen asks him is like, so what do you actually do? Like,
I'm in
construction.
construction. I'm part of the Teamsters. Hey.
And her is like, you don't seem like I'm a union rep.
Yeah. Teamsters. The old bait and switch. All right.
Yes.
So a part of the whole Karen story is the fact that is it her neighbor? I'm guessing it's I forgot.
It was her neighbor from
like
across
I said,
the street.
seen it 3 times.
Well, her neighbor from across the street, they had met at the country club. They had their second date on, and apparently he had basically tried to sexually assault her. She was able to fight him off, but then he pushed her out of the car.
Yeah. And she tells Henry, and Henry is like, I'm not having this.
No. He
and
just
comes
pistol whips the fuck out of him.
Yeah. And then he goes to Karen. He gives her a bloody gun. Hide this. And he leaves. And she's like, oh, this really turned me on.
No,
like,
the first thing she says, this would scare most women, and it should have scared me. But I'm not going to lie to you. It turned me on.
and that kind of tells you what person his wife was. She was just a bit as crazy as he is.
They were both a little bit unhinged in their own way.
Unhinged.
Just in different ways.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. We're going to go to this.
No, I was going to say the only thing I want to say about the wedding that they had.
Oh yeah. Go ahead. I know what you're going to say. I know what you're going to say.
Tommy's mom during that. Joe Pesci's mom, obviously that's Martin Scorsese's mom, but she was being the quintessential like Italian mother going, why don't you stop all this running around and settle down and get married?
Yeah. That's the close. I can't really catch the
the other thing where they were all coming up to them and they were just giving them cash.
Yeah, it's like
cash,
here we go.
And Karen's like, well, shouldn't we be worried with their first stance? Shouldn't we be worried about the giant bag? What bag are you worried about? The bag full of money. Like,
yeah, who's gonna steal from a gang?
No one's gonna steal from us here.
Yeah.
Then the other line, which is right around here, is when Karen meets all the other ladies when she's having that makeover session. She is talking to one of the other ladies, and she goes, "I'm from Miami. Have you ever been to Miami before?" She says that this actress has 2 jokes, and they fucking kill me every single time. This is one. She goes, yeah, you don't want to go to Miami. It's like you died and went to Jewish heaven.
Well, to be fair. Hey.
That was the first joke. We'll get to the second joke later, but that was the first one. I'm like, oh my god, that's fucking funny. Like, I hope Meth caught that.
It's funny because it's true.
And then now we got
can we go and get the shine box, please?
Yes. Now we get to this one. Yeah, this scene is chef's kiss.
Oh, this is so good, so good. Anyway, so Billy Batts coming back from apparently being at prison. They don't say anything, but he is back.
But he is the important thing is that they didn't really ever say it in the film, but he is a made guy. He is a super made guy.
No, they say it after they kill him. Henry says it that he's a made guy. While they were burying him, they said something about it. You know about him being a made guy before the shit really hits the fan with Tommy. But the overall story is Billy Batts is this guy who's drinking in the middle.
We know that because his Paul Cicero was getting calls from his other crew trying to figure out where the hell he was. So yeah, anyway.
Because they knew he was there, and all of his friends later on left. He already being antagonistic towards Tommy, and Tommy's just a hothead, and him and Henry and Jimmy
Jimmy.
both really like destroy
Which,
his face and
you
everything.
if you think about it though, Henry didn't do anything violently.
He did beat him up. He did rough him up. They all three of them did.
Not to the point where the extent
Yeah,
of
look,
Jimmy and Tommy.
the whole point is the whole point is this whole movie kind of hinges on this storyline, because it actually starts off with them in the car going to the burial place, opening up the trunk, seeing that he's still alive, and stabbing him. And later on,
that was Tommy that did that though.
yeah, Tommy that did that. But this is the storyline where they beat him up, then stuff him in the car, go get a fucking shovel, running into Tommy's mom, who is Martin Scorsese's mom, doing the whole
hold
bit
on,
there.
you're going a little bit too far now.
No, I'm just explaining. That's the whole thing. Thank you, Biffer. I won't be busting your balls, man.
Just don't bust my balls, all right?
Exactly. And they literally put him in the ground, and that's the whole. It really is the hinge of the entire movie, where it's literally almost the halfway point of the movie is this storyline.
Well, and then also too, if you think about it for even half a second, had Tommy not been such a hothead, he probably would have been
made. It would
everybody would have
definitely
been pretty
be
much happy.
Made. It would definitely be made.
So
now the real story, I don't know if you've listened to the book or have seen the documentary.
Yeah, I know.
The real story is Billy Batts was coming out of prison. Billy Batts was a loan shark for the mob. And when he was going away, Tommy was taking his business either in service of Paul or some other maid guy, but he was taking care of the business. And when Billy Batts came out, it was like, okay, like, get the fuck off my territory, and like
Tommy's
move
like,
away.
nah,
and Tommy was like, no way, and he disappeared. It wasn't this particular scene where, because Henry Hill said they didn't really do it like that. It was something else. It was behind an alley, something. It wasn't inside the bar of somebody they knew. Yeah. It wasn't someone's territory. Anyway, and word got out, and it got out to Gotti, and Gotti like pushed a button and said, this Tommy dude is dead. And they lured him in. They didn't say they're going to make him into a maid guy. They just lured him into somewhere other place in some sort of pretense, and then put a bullet in his head. And they never found the body. Tommy was never found, ever.
Which, oddly enough, that happens to Joe Pesci's character twice.
Yes, I know.
Movie review next week. Spoiler.
Next week. Yeah.
But that scene though, when they go out there, they bury the body and everything. Before that, the scene with Scorsese's mother has to be one of the most chilling bit of like just a stark reflection of just pure sociopathy.
Oh yeah.
Where the two of them are making fucking jokes about it. Where they by the way, the painting that she made was actually the cover of an old National Geographic magazine. That's a other behind the screen thing.
Yeah, that's fine.
But she was, oh look at that. Looks like somebody we know, and they're laughing about it. Well, he's banging on the trunk, bleeding to death.
Exactly. And the whole point is like the scene is surreal. It's 3 a.m. or something like that, and she's making them food.
Yeah.
Now, for normal people, that would have seemed a bit strange, but for guys who were living the life, And Henry Hill said it, for guys who were living the life, going to somebody's place and the nonna or the mama
Yeah.
awakes and suddenly, oh, you seem a bit hungry, let me make you some food. That could have been a normal night during the week or a weekend. Very normal to like show up at somebody's house and waking up the mom and it's like, oh, you look tired, let me make you some food. That was very normal for them, for
Yeah.
some of them.
Which, oddly enough, Meth, that would be the exact same thing that would happen if you were to come visit me and we were to actually visit my parents.
Yeah, but
And wake my mother up at 4 o'clock in the morning. She'd be like, come on, boys, you must be hungry.
Do I need to know more about your gang affiliation?
No. It's just how my mom is. My mom's a fucking insomniac. So she's like, you must be hungry. I'll make you something to eat.
The more you know. Anyway, so speaking about how Tommy is a sociopath, Tommy shoots what's his face in the foot.
Spider. Actually,
Spider,
oddly enough,
yeah.
another behind the scenes thing that I was gonna wait until it shows up was Joe Pesci actually hated all of these scenes.
Really? Why did he?
Because he felt that it showed that Tommy was a hothead, but it made him seem like he was completely and totally out of control. And also, he didn't find a reason why he would have just flat out killed Spider. Shooting him in the foot, yeah, he could see Tommy doing. But killing him, he didn't understand that.
Really? You would think that it seems very in tune with the character. I don't know why he thought that. I thought it was very much like Tommy's in his wheelhouse to explode like that.
No, I think exploding with anger by shooting him like he did in the foot, that makes sense. But just killing him,
Yeah,
that was like the Joe Pesci never thought that was a good scene, and he always had an issue with that. Granted, he acted the fuck out of it. I mean, the scene's memorable because even when Jimmy Conway is telling Tommy, like, listen, this time you're burying the fucking body. You get the shovel, you bury him.
Yeah.
You dig the hole. And what does Tommy do? Fuck, I'd dig the hole. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Again, that almost just cold, calculated, near sociopathy, where it didn't matter this was a person. And that was a problem that had to be dealt with. And
yeah. So before the big heist, we do get a glimpse of another part of the life where him and Henry and Jimmy went to shake down the sky, and it turns out the sister works for the FBI.
Oh, yeah, in Florida.
And they get caught, so Henry goes to prison.
Well, there's one line.
This is
only,
like
I was there's only one line in right before that where they were about to they go to the Tampa Bay Zoo, and they're about to put him in the lions, and he goes like, and the narration from Ray Liotta says, I don't know whether or not they actually feed people to lions down there or not, but he was sure as shit to get us our money right away.
Yeah. This whole thing, the fact that once you get in prison, for people that are affiliated with the mob, it's not the same kind of time.
No, see, the thing is, other people were doing the time, sitting together like a bunch of mooks. No, we were doing time our own way. That is like Paulie had a way where he could cut garlic so thin with the razor blade it would just melt in the pan with a little bit of oil.
Yeah. By the way, that does happen, and it's delicious. I love it. I love Italian cooking. I love it so much.
Yep.
This whole scene for me is a delight in terms of cooking. So the big pot with the spaghetti bolognese, with basically the bolognese sauce and how they make it. Oh, dude.
I thought he used too much onions, but it was still a good sauce.
It's a good sauce. It was deep. Dude, I was in Italy. I hope you were too.
I've been, yeah.
Their red sauce is deep crimson.
Yeah.
It is very good. It is very,
Well,
very good.
but
But the whole
but
point
the
is,
actor, the actor Paul Sorvino, who
Yeah.
plays Paulie Cicero,
Yeah.
him actually dicing the onions by hand with a razor blade.
yeah, he did that.
No, he did that at his own adherence, where he said, my mother would kill me if I didn't cut garlic the right way.
Of course she did. Dude, Italians don't fuck around.
I'm just
Italians
saying, like,
do not fuck around when it comes to preparing meals. I mean, now everything is modernized. If you go to Italy, yeah, that kind of thing wears off a little bit. But go back just 20 years. If you weren't making the food correctly, you would have been smacked upside the head.
yeah.
Right? It's they like I said, they don't fuck around. It is very, very important to do certain things in a certain way. But this is where in prison, this is where the whole drug trafficking thing kind of starts with Henry.
Yep.
As he I'm gonna put it on screen. Don't worry about it, YouTube. This is just flour.
They're cutting up flour, playing cards.
Cutting
They're
out
making
flour
cake.
just before it goes into the cake. Okay, it's a
But
movie.
that's
Relax. It's the prop.
where it all got started, and especially like once he gets out, the first thing that
That Paul tells him
he's
is,
out, Paul is like,
stop
listen,
doing this shit. Yeah.
like, I know what you had to do while you were inside. We could not give you money, so you had to do what you had to do. But right now, I'm telling you, stop it. Like, and whoever you are involved with around this, you come to me and you tell me who's involved right there. And what's the first thing that? Yeah, I know, booger sugar. What's the first thing that Paulie does when Henry starts to have a rebuttal?
Yeah. It's like you cut off.
He slaps him right in the face and goes, "No, you come and you tell me."
Yeah. I was making cake here. Yeah, I mean, this is where Debbie Mezer's character. He had a mistress before, and she kind of went away after he got in prison.
Well, no, that's because Karen went to her house.
Yeah.
And like, everybody in 47 Gs, let them know that a whore lives here.
A hua
lives here.
And of course, she pulled a gun on him as well. Well, that was nice.
Talk about some mad love.
Yeah.
Speaking of some other mad love, there was one other line there. When Henry gets out of jail and they all go back to the family and everything. The same woman who had the same, I'm from Miami, it's like Jewish heaven.
Yeah.
Had this other line where she's talking to another woman where she's apparently with Tommy now. Just like, it's so great. Even if I were to look at somebody else, I know he'd kill me. Yeah. And the other girl goes like, "Oh, wow, that's great."
So they make a big heist and they pay Paul.
No, only one heist. Not only a big heist.
The heist.
The heist.
The heist. Yeah, the Lufthansa heist, which it was a real thing.
Yeah.
In the movie, I don't know if they say anything in the movie, but it was like $8 million back in 79 or 78, somewhere in the 70s.
So given for inflation,
a lot
it's
of money.
About $25 to $30 million.
And it doesn't sound a lot, but for heists is massive.
An astronomical amount of money. Yeah.
It is massive. Crazy. And the one thing that Jimmy says to everybody, don't buy anything big. Don't buy anything. Don't do anything. Just wait till everything calms down. And what the first guy, he comes into a party. It's like, what are you driving?
He shows up in a Cadillac, and his wife has brand new furs on. Where it's like, What the fuck? What the fuck did I tell you? What the fuck did I tell you?
Yeah. And of course, one by one, the people who were involved in the whole heist get, the bodies are found because Jimmy is fucking nuts. And
well, that also, but Jimmy has the point where he's like, well, once the money got into Jimmy's hands, it was Jimmy's money. Everyone else had to just go.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's why.
So,
and Henry even says that in narration where he says, he never got to me because I kept my mouth shut, didn't complain. He just gave me a Christmas bonus. That was it.
Exactly. And that's how things were. First, they killed the guy who annoyed them throughout the movie, the guy with the
wig maker,
toupee. Yeah, the toupee. Then they killed everybody else, including the pink Cadillac dude.
And they killed fucking Stacks. Aww.
Yeah, and like I said, remember I said last week that Samuel L. Jackson is gonna eat a lot of crow. So last week, even though I had the director's cut and I did see him get killed, and this one he definitely gets killed, brutally gets killed.
Yeah.
Well,
Tommy's line was like, oh yeah, well you're always late. You'd even be late to your own funeral.
Yeah.
At least he got killed execution style.
Yeah.
Like one to the back of the head and that's it. That's at least a peaceful way to go out.
Well,
he
didn't see it coming. Like, let's just say that.
Well, then it's just night where you're just instantly dead. That
$8 million in 1978 is today's $34 million. That is for a heist, a single heist. It's a lot of money.
Yeah,
it's a lot of money.
And to be fair as well, Stacks did he didn't deserve to get killed, but he did deserve some recompense for not getting rid of the panel truck because he got stoned and fell asleep and the cops found the panel truck.
I think from everybody, I think he's the first on the body count.
Yes, he is. Yep.
Right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Okay. Time before everything goes to shit. Because after the heist, after the bodies are found, this movie, for me, takes a nosedive.
Yeah, it goes into the bad dark days. Which
so before we go deep into the dark days, let's go to another segment.
Round 1, fight.
This segment is called Screen Fighter, where we take two movies, pit them together, and see which one is the best one. If there is no discernible consequence, we go to our criteria, which is Saturday evening, Friday evening, out with the boys, out with the girls, out with your significant other. We got two movies. Which one will we pop in? So the first pairing is a rather easy selection.
Yeah, that's an easy one.
Easy one. Planet Terror or Forrest Gump.
Much as I hate the fact that the movie is basically about a woman who not only mentally but then sexually assaults someone who is someone who has mental difficulties, Forrest Gump.
No comment. Training Day or Triple X?
Oh, this is easy. Training Day, of course.
It is very easy. It's Training Day. Triple X is so bad. Triple X is like the first Fast and Furious movie.
Now, this one is actually a decent debate.
Okay. Chasing Amy or Mean Girls? Kevin Smith and whoever did this.
Tina Fey.
Tina Fey wrote this?
Yeah.
Well, that's easy. That's Chasing Amy then. I don't like Tina Fey's writing at all. I don't like Tina Fey herself. I don't like Lindsay Lohan. Kind of don't like Amy Adams in this particular role. And what's her face? Seyfried? Amanda Seyfried?
Amanda Seyfried, yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Chasing Amy. I fucking love the movie. I wish they would have kept a few of the outtakes that Ben Affleck kind of ad-libbed.
Yeah, because the outtakes really did make the movie.
The outtakes that
they're really
Kevin
good.
Smith told about everybody. Nobody has seen it, but he did tell about a few outtakes that were hilarious.
Yeah.
That I wish were in the movie.
The only thing that I would say on behalf of for Mean Girls' sake is I thought that was a good sort of positive turn of the classic dichotomy of where the nerdy girl becomes popular just to become popular. Kind of like it's kind of just taking the trope of the classic teen comedy on turning it on its head, where she decides that like she's better off being herself, and then showing everybody that they can be themselves too.
So you're going with Mean Girls?
No, I'm still going to go with Chasing Amy because I love that movie. That's which I've already told you. That's my favorite Kevin Smith film.
Yeah, I know. The Lion King or Night of the Living Dorks. Have you seen Night of the Living Dorks? I don't think I've seen it.
Oh, and I'm glad I haven't.
Oh,
now here we go. Here we go.
No,
all right,
that is a good pairing.
All right,
Tommy Boy, classic, and The Lion King. You know where I stand? I stand with Chris Farley on this one. By the way, just so you know, Tommy Boy is a shit movie. It is absolutely terrible. It's written poorly.
It's
an
awful
bad,
film.
but Chris Farley and David Spade miraculously save it.
It was that, and it was Tommy Boy, and what was the other one?
Is it American Ninja?
No.
There's something else. Yeah, I know. They both did another movie together.
Chris Farley did American Ninja, but David Spade wasn't in it.
I don't remember the name. Yeah, I know what you mean. It is tough. I mean, Biff is on the side of Disney on this one. Again, it's nothing to do with today's Disney. This is early 90s Disney. Yes, The Lion King was a spectacle. Never did it for me. It was in the good. It wasn't the good Disney run where they had Little Mermaid, they had The Lion King, they had Aladdin, they had.
It was
they had a good like streak of things. Toy Story came out for Pixar, and then everything went to shit.
Well, because it was that early 90s run. It started with, again, you're right, from The Little Mermaid all the way up through Toy Story. So they had Little Mermaid, Aladdin, Beauty
and the Beast,
Lion King.
All the like old new fairy tales.
Like good classics.
Give me a choice.
I have to go with The Lion King because I really love that movie. I still do.
So you and the chat have spoken.
As much as I love that.
Shark Tale or 12 Monkeys?
12 fucking monkeys. Oh my God. Brad Pitt playing a goddamn psychopath? Yes, of course.
I agree. Princess Mononoke.
Okay.
Is it? Please tell me the correct term.
No, you got that. No, you got it. You actually pronounced it correctly.
It's Mononoke.
Yeah.
And Bad Boys 2. It's weird because usually I would go with Bad Boys 2, but Princess Mononoke is one of those quintessential anime movie that you have to have watched. I've watched it. I don't exactly remember the story, but I know I've seen something good.
That's how memorable it is.
Really? You don't?
I know I watched it, but you have to watch it.
I'm not sure. Will it turn out to be like a true romance thing where I remember it good and then I watch it and then it's so bad?
Yeah.
I know it was good. I just don't remember it.
It's really not that good.
It's really not that good.
Watch any other one of his films. Watch any of the other. Watch Howl's Moving Castle, for Christ's sake, even.
I've seen that one. I've seen that one. Well, I've basically seen that one recently because my kids watched it.
Yeah. I think Mononoke is one of the most overrated classics of all time.
Interesting. So you're going with Bad Boys?
Yep.
Too bad. The chat rules.
Sorry, I speak fluent Japanese, so
I know. Toy Story 2 or The Dark Knight. It will We'll stop with this pairing because we're going to go a little bit long tonight.
Yep. Well, we don't have to have that much left of the film, but you already know my opinion on this one.
You're picking Toy Story? No.
Come on.
It is, of course, The Dark Knight.
Heath Ledger's portrayal
Heath Ledger's quintessential
Joker
role.
is
yeah.
so sad.
By the way,
So
just so we know, which Joker is the best, Heath Ledger or Jack Nicholson?
Heath Ledger.
Interesting. I'm going with Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson played more of the cartoonish Silver Age version of the Joker.
Yes.
I'll give you that.
Heath Ledger was more, we'll say, Bronze Age or even later than Bronze Age. Bronze Age is 80s, 90s?
No, we're talking about everything after The Killing Joke. That's
2000s, isn't it?
No, The Killing Joke is in the 80s.
That's what I'm saying.
And
Is it, wait,
you know,
is it 80s,
Buzz,
isn't 80s and early 90s considered Bronze Age comics?
No.
Okay. I don't know anything about fucking comics. That's why I'm asking you.
You're wrong. No, but I was going to say, Biffer had a really good point though. Cesar Romero.
No, fuck that shit. No. No. But look, I've seen the entire series, the old Batman 66. Sorry, Adam West is not my Batman. I'm sorry. It's way too campy for me. Never liked it as a good representation of Batman. As a non-comic book reader, yeah. I can't accept. You know what? Cesar Romero was the best actor in that show, including Adam West.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say he's the best Joker.
Although I do have to give a lot of credit to Eartha Kitt because she went too method on it. As in,
she did.
She went way off her rocker.
Although, so, in all fairness, Julie Newmar is my Catwoman. If we're going,
I don't blame.
If we're going Batman 66, I'm going to go Julie Newmar.
Julie Newmar, yeah.
And that's a personal preference. Eartha Kitt was good though. She was fucking crazy. All right, so we're out of prison. We're done with the whole bodies, and now we're going into the Descent to Madness by Ray Liotta or Henry Hill. There's not a lot of Jimmy. There's not a lot of Tommy at this point, up until the point where he tells the story where Tommy gets killed.
The only
whole
that has
kind of really goes into a nosedive in terms of appeal and storyline.
I was going to say the only scene that actually has them that is really important is when they're actually, oddly enough, in the probation office, where the three of them are sitting in there, and he's like, "I'm making so much money from this Pittsburgh deal. I had to bring in people that I could trust."
Yeah, so he brought Jimmy and Tommy. But the whole storyline is all centered in Henry.
Around Henry.
There is a little bit of interaction after Tommy gets killed, where he's sitting around with Jimmy, and Jimmy's like, "Oh, go do this Florida thing," and he said,
"Oh no, that's after
that's after the very end." I know, but this whole last around 40 minutes of the movie, it's a lot of interaction.
Well, there's the one thing where Scorsese actually said that shooting Henry's last day as a wise guy, which is a good 25 minutes of that last 40 minutes of that where he's driving around and he's seen the helicopters and everything, driving everyone around.
Yeah.
Was one of the hardest sequences of scenes he's ever had to shoot.
Really? Why?
Because it was all done in the same day.
Really? That's rough.
Yeah.
So it goes from, but they didn't shoot this in sequence because he was in the house making the food, then going to another house, doing the drugs, coming back to the same house, eating
Yeah.
the dinner. So they didn't film that in sequence, but they had to change.
They did the whole thing. They did
had
it
to
all in
change
one day.
costumes and everything, but they did it in one day.
Yeah.
That's rough for a movie this size.
So
That's rough.
he had to go visit his girlfriend to take care of the drugs. Then try to get the guns sold off to Tommy. Tommy turned down the guns, remember? Then he had to take the guns back to the house, go back to check on the sauce.
Yeah.
Then go pick up his brother at the hospital. The doctor thought he was gonna have a fucking heart attack.
Yeah, because he was snorting cocaine during the middle of it.
The doctor gave him Valium.
Yeah.
Don't remember if you remember this or not. They gave him Valium. Then we're like, go on and go.
Yeah.
He takes his brother while going, hey, you see the helicopters up there? They're following us. They're following us. And his brother the whole time, Mikey, the one in the wheelchair's going like, are you crazy? Like, are you okay? They get to the house. They're starting to still prep dinner. He goes off to go get the rest of the coke that he needs to get to strap to his babysitter's legs.
Well, the whole point of me showing this particular scene is nothing to do with the whole chase, but this moment where Jimmy goes to the phone and he learns about the bad news.
Well,
he
that right there
fucks up that fucking phone booth.
Well, that, and also that's the really that's the oddest thing too, because for as much as just a wanton sociopath as Jimmy has been throughout this entire film, once he hears that Tommy got whacked, he breaks.
Yeah.
Like he actually lost something and met something. Like again, you're absolutely right. This is the only time you ever see any genuine emotion outside of Jimmy.
Yeah, because up to that point, he is a mega sociopath. Like
complete stoicism.
Even when
he has flashes of anger.
Annoyed, even when he's annoyed with the people who, like the guy who bought the pink thing, he is very methodical. He is yelling, but you don't like see like mega emotions. It's like viciousness. It's the most that you see. And it's all due to the fact that he's trying to keep everything together, not falling apart. And in this one, he cries. He literally sobs.
Yeah.
There's some like, even in the subtitles, it actually says in brackets sobs.
Sobs. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I don't know. Attachment.
Which also,
friends.
if you think about it though, it wasn't like, even with the way that Henry describes it, it wasn't the fact that Tommy died. It was the fact that it was also kind of the death of Jimmy's dreams. Because once Tommy got made, we were basically both made as well.
Yeah.
Just vicariously. Because, well, Tommy was going to become a boss, and then we were going to be following right behind him. Because we couldn't become made men, Jimmy and Henry, because
Jimmy was Irish and Henry was half Italian, half Irish as well, which in the mob you have to be full Italian to be made. So after Henry gets pinched again for the drugs, he goes to Paul,
which oddly enough, I want to call to a comment that was made
sure
by my friend DK in chat over here. We's making a cake here. They actually, well, they didn't say that, but they referred to that when they were bringing in evidence while he's sitting in just sitting in booking and processing, where they're trying to interview them all.
Yeah,
they bring in all of the gear from Debbie Nazar.
Yeah, he said we were
making
making a cake.
Oh my god, what we do? We making a cake?
Yeah, a cake with a mound of cocaine. A mountain of cocaine.
Because they were sifters and grams, like all of just full of coke.
Yeah. So the thing is, Henry goes to Paul because he needs to ask for forgiveness. And
Yeah.
Paul's like, I've told you not to mess with that shit. And now
Well,
literally he gives him money.
the big thing was where he goes, no, what you did was you lied to me. You made me look like a fucking jerk. That was
Exactly.
the big thing was it was the disrespect.
And he
Had he
gives, yeah, like I said, he gives him the money. He said, he tells him, and now I have to
I have
turn
to
my
turn my
back to
back
you.
on you. Yep.
And this is the face that like Henry or Ray makes because he knows what
No,
is the
well, he
actual meaning
openly
of
weeps
what
because like yeah, he's like that's it. Yeah, that's it.
that is it.
A
And then he
lifetime.
goes to speak to Jimmy because Jimmy didn't cut him off, just Paul cut him off. And Jimmy's like, I need you to go to do something in Florida. And
Well, no,
Henry says,
he doesn't actually go see Jimmy. Karen goes to see Jimmy.
no. They sit in a diner.
No, before that though. Before
Before that, Karen goes to Jimmy to ask for some
Yeah.
money for the lawyers or something. And
No,
Jimmy's like,
she doesn't even go to ask for money. She goes to just check in and talk to Jimmy. Jimmy gives her money, then says, and gives him notes too. Just like here's what we know what's going on with the case right now, just so you know that Henry's not a rat. He's not trying to rat you out. Like here's
yeah,
all the information, everything. Jimmy gives her money, and then from there goes, hey, by the way, there's some really great, like, we got a whole off the rack thing with Dior stuff, which, Jimmy's whole career of hijacking trucks and everything, it's like, it makes perfect sense. But as soon as she starts walking, that voice inside of her head immediately, with Henry going, they're all going to try to fucking kill us. Like,
exactly.
we're done.
Exactly.
We're done.
And then
it's like, she peeks into the corner there, then it's like, oh, I gotta go take care of the kids.
yeah, it's like,
Then
see what's in brackets? Tire squeals, as in she's getting the fuck out of there. Like now.
Yep.
And
so when
then
she gets back home, then Jimmy and Henry have that conversation, and Jimmy says right there, well, also the whole time,
exactly.
what have I always told you? Don't talk on the fucking phone. That even goes back to at the very, very beginning of the movie. It was
where Paul doesn't talk to anyone. He
on the phone.
has couriers coming and going and telling
him
what's what.
Yeah.
It really harkens back to you don't talk on the phone because they tap the phone.
Yeah.
Don't don't. And he tells him, well, I need you to do something in Florida. And Henry kind of realizes, well, you never asked me to go whack somebody
before.
ever.
And then that's when I realized if I went down to Florida, I was dead.
I'm not coming back. Just because they thought he would rat on them. Not because it's so weird that the guy didn't have any history of ratting anybody, or else he would have been dead. But he didn't have a history of turning or going to the cops or even talking to the cops. But suddenly now, because he was dealing in drugs, he is a liability. So we have to get rid of him. Even though Jimmy was his friend since he was a kid, right?
Yeah.
And now, because he got caught, immediately is a liability, and he turns on him like that.
Well, also after with the way that it's written and the way that it's portrayed, you could even say after the Lufthansa heist, Jimmy became extremely paranoid. Like just don't disregard actual real life implications and what actually happened in real life. The way the story is told, it makes sense. Him becoming more and more paranoid. The loss of Tommy really escalated that to a point where it's like anything could happen at this point.
You would think that if it was a big problem and Tommy was still alive, maybe Tommy would have literally killed Henry on the spot.
Yeah.
He could have killed him on the spot just for that.
I wouldn't have been surprised. I wouldn't have been surprised like when
maybe
when
even
Henry,
with an order from Paul.
Yeah. When Henry got out of jail, that night had he still been alive. When Henry said like, I thought that I was going to get killed immediately when I walked out of that
Yeah,
walked out of
because he knew.
jailhouse.
He knew.
Because like I would not have been surprised had Tommy still been alive and it had this been just like a typical like gangster story, not based off of real life sets of circumstances.
Yeah, yeah.
Like yeah, he would have gotten killed right outside of the police station.
Exactly. And he kind of expected it. So he turns to the
So, yeah.
FBI, and you said
Anyway,
this guy.
that is that's the actual
That's the actual FBI guy who
guy.
took
FBI
in
and
the actual Henry Hill
put him
dude.
under witness protection. Yeah.
Exactly. Like I said, I didn't know that, but it's very interesting. It's super
So
interesting,
it's like a little tiny, literally like very very fucking cool
and
detail.
I love this, I love this like almost last scene. It's not the last scene, but it's almost the last scene where he sits down on the bench, and it suddenly turns into breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah. Well, as he's delivering testimony, it goes into a monologue where he breaks the fourth wall and
dresses the camera, and then it turns into, oh, Henry Hill was in protective custody, blah 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 blah, and then I'm just gonna turn off the screen for a little bit, and the ending of that spiel ended with him doing this. It's like, oh, I'm gonna be at a place where they don't serve good Italian food again.
No.
The good Italian food comes back in, and
no, where he said like, no, now I live in a place where I'm just a regular Joe. I have to wait in line just like everybody else. The first time, well, I can't even get good food here. The first time I went out for a nice, like I asked for a good spaghetti.
Yeah, a good marinara sauce, and I got egg noodles and ketchup. Egg noodles and ketchup. I was like,
I used to have the world at my fingertips, and now I'm just a regular schnook.
Exactly. And that's it harkens back to the start of the movie where he's a little boy and he says, I could never ever live like the normies.
Guy, yeah.
Like the normies, where
and then at the very end of the last shot that you get is Tommy, shooting a gun
with a gun,
which is again the callback to the last great train robbery, where forever and ever, whatever he does, there's always going to be that haunting ghost.
All right, I think it's time for a wrap up. I enjoyed this movie tremendously. Again, the last 45 minutes for me is a bit of a slog, especially when I know the ending. I didn't, you know what? It's like we said many times, sometimes when you watch things critically, especially for as a preparation for this podcast, we try to get as much juice out of it. But you know what? I didn't get anything new this time. I almost knew this movie by heart. It is a wonderful movie. It is on my top 20.
I think it was number. Was it
number
5?
I'll when you get to talk, I'll search for it and I'll give you the exact number. It's very high. I love mobster movies. I love gangster movies. Like I said, especially 20s and 30s, not particularly 70s and 80s, but there are lots of great stories, 70s, 80s, even 90s during the Gotti era and all that stuff with, well, not really the Gotti era, but let's say 70s, 80s, you've got the Iceman story. Do you know about the Iceman?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Dude, that guy is fucking scary.
Yes,
it's the same kind of time where it was like
but also
70s, 80s.
The scary thing about him was that he just was like, yeah, by the way, I bought a crossbow just because I wanted to see how it worked.
Yeah. No, Biffer, I don't have a Letterboxd account. I do not. If you want to just DM me on Twitter on whatever you want to send me or email me, that's fine. I'll take a look at what you want to offer me. Easy. I don't have a PO box to send stuff because we don't have an audience.
Yeah.
If we ever do get an audience, then I'll set up a PO box so people can send me stuff. But yeah, not now, not now. Okay, give us your take from the movie. Like, I mean, for me, it's still one of the most amazing pieces of film ever.
For me, it's definitely in my top 10. I think it's by far not only the most, I would say, accurate portrayal of mobster life, especially in the late 60s, early 70s, all the way through the early 80s. But overall, I think it's the best mobster film ever made. We're going to watch my second favorite one next week. But I think this film is deserves all of its accolades. I think if you have never watched this film before, please go watch it. You're gonna have a ball watching it, just to revel in the wanton nonsense. Because there is a lot of just absolute pure depravity in this film, and also there are bits of levity, as I mentioned. Those 2 jokes.
Yeah.
Which are absolutely hilarious because they're just absolutely just scene breaking because you're like, whoa, that's funny. The acting is amazing. Obviously, the screenwriters are amazing. The improvisation and the way that they were able to adapt everything that was supposed to be improvised into the script, so well done. The casting was on point. I think the only flaws in it is that they dragged out the prison sentence up until the last day, dragged on for a little bit too long. As you mentioned,
Yeah. The latter part. It's basically the third act was a bit weak. It was a little bit weak.
It needed to be told, but it could have been very condensed.
Yes, I would say so. I would definitely say so.
Yeah. Other than that, though, I still think it is still one of the best films ever made.
Yeah.
So
it is 14 on my list. You were right. It was 14 on my list. A very respectable 14. Cool. So to end the show, as we usually try and do, we will see the short version of. Sorry, the coffee went up. The short version of Goodfellas. Let me just set it up. No, there we go. Enjoy this, ladies and gentlemen. I enjoyed making it.
Okay, here we go. The short version.
Paulie didn't have to move for anybody. It was out of respect. See, Jimmy was one of the most feared guys in the city.
Never rat on your friends and always keep your mouth shut.
Well, I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you?
Get the fuck out of here, Tommy.
It's gonna be a good summer.
If you touch her again, you're dead! Oh, because of Jeannie, because he wanted to get away from her, that's why.
Now go home and get your fucking shine box.
Tommy had killed a made guy.
There's a wing! What do you like, the leg or the wing, Henry? Shane. Oklahoma kid, that's me! I'm the Oklahoma kid! You fucking Barbie!
Why don't you go fuck yourself, Tommy?
You love her. Do you?
In prison, dinner was always a big thing.
Just don't do it.
You don't buy anything, you hear me? Don't buy anything.
For a second, I thought I was dead.
Yeah, it's over there, right there.
That's when I knew I would never have come back from Florida alive. Get to live the rest of my life like a schnook.
All right. Cool. That was it, ladies and gentlemen. Another podcast can come to an end. We skipped a lot. I know we skipped a lot. A lot of points. But It is what it is. And I'm not
Blame
sorry about the
Mefford
rant.
ranting
I'm not
early.
sorry about the rant at the start. There will be more if they keep going at it. Anyway, next week we continue our gangster / mob month with Casino.
You motherfucker, you!
You've been waiting. You were sitting for an hour and 50 minutes on that fucking sentence. You know you did. I love you for it. Anyway, Casino, Robert De Niro again, Joe Pesci again, Martin Scorsese again, but a way different mobster story. Now
Yes.
we move from the West Coast to from the East Coast,
East Coast to the West Coast. Yes.
with a little town called Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Yes. So next week, Casino, 1995.
It was 96.
95 or 96 with Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, and of course Sharon Stone. Another real life story, not really a biopic, but a portraying of that story and making it into a movie. I have also read the book. Actually read it, not audio booked it. I think I have it somewhere here. I'll get it for you next time. Very interesting book, very interesting film. Much better film than the book. Just saying. Go watch it. Come back to us. Of course. Follow me on Twitter if you like to interact with me personally, or on Instagram. I use it mostly for the DMs. Don't really post that much there. And of course, you can email us at the Reel McCoy podcast at gmail.com. And I do invite you, if you are catching the VOD on YouTube, go. If you were a Twitch user, you want to use Twitch to watch us live, twitch.tv/The Reel McCoy podcast, of course. And until next week, from me, Mephisto, and from all my feelings, we say have a great weekend and good night.